Hey y'all, it's the Baptist Builder. I haven't done a video in a long time, so I'm going to try to do a twofer here and just show you. We've been busy in Nixa, framing walls and getting the exterior all put together. I'll give you a little walkthrough of that and just a quick thought. And then Lord willing, we'll be able to show you the progress from here on out. So this will be the front door, front windows. Got everything, all the windows framed out, some bracing. These are all bathrooms here, stubbed up. We're standing in the women's bathroom. There's the men's bathroom. There's window, sanctuary. All of our windows that we're gonna install once we get the sheathing on, Lord willing tomorrow. Sanctuary. All right, so the Bible reading this morning, we're in Genesis chapter 28, and I call this Pillows, Pillars, and Promises. And so Genesis 28, we know that Jacob, he had deceived his father Isaac. He had betrayed Esau yet again. Jacob's mom sends him to go find a wife among their own people, sends him back to where she's from and to her brother Laban. And on the way there, and Genesis chapter 28 verse 10, it says, "And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angels of God ascending and descending. And behold, the Lord stood above it, and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, the God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as of the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all the places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee, nor I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, How dreadful is this place! This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob arose early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, and the name of that city was called Luz at the first. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house, and of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the tenth unto thee." So Jacob makes himself a nice little bed. He takes all the stones of the place, and he pillows it for himself, and he takes all these things that God has given him, and he makes himself comfortable with it. And then in that, and the same as what happens to every single one of us, there comes a time when we wake up. We encounter God. The Bible talks about this as the day of visitation, right? And God is going to deal with every man. The grace of God which leadeth us unto salvation has appeared unto every man. And so this God gives Jacob a vision. And Jacob sees this, and then God first promises Jacob. And he says, I am the Lord thy God. And he says, I am the Lord, God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereupon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. He reiterates the promise that he's given Abraham to Jacob. He says, I'm going to continue this promise that I made to my servant Abraham. I'm going to continue this promise through you. God's already promised him this. God's already told him, this is what I'm going to do. And excuse me, I said I'm the Lord thy God. He wasn't Jacob's God yet at this time. This is Jacob's first real encounter with God. And he wakes up, he's off his pillow, and he says, surely God is in this place. And he's afraid. And so he says, God, you know, if you give me these things, if you do these things, then you'll be my God. Then I'll believe you. God's already promised. God's already made that promise. But Jacob says, if you do what you said you're going to do, and if you bring me back into my father's place, and if you feed me and you keep me in the way, and you will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. God, if you meet these circumstances, you meet this, you just promised me that you're going to fulfill the promise of Abraham through me. But first, do this for me. And Jacob erects that pillar. And Jacob's life is set up by pillars after that. You see, every time that God deals with Jacob, or God's leading Jacob in a certain way, his life can be marked out by pillars. The next pillar that he'll erect is the pillar between him and Laban. And he says, you don't go past this way, and I won't go this way. You don't bother me, and I won't bother you. And then he goes, and shortly after that, we know that Jacob encounters God again. And he wrestles with God night and day, and God touches the hollow of his thigh, and he halts upon that thigh for the rest of his life. That encounter with God. And that was the one where I believe that Jacob, that's when he becomes Israel. That's when he's no longer the deceiver. That's when he's no longer the deceiver, but he says he's a prince with God. I believe that's when Jacob gets saved. But for now, God offers a promise. Jacob gives a promise of his own. He said, God, if you give me all these things, if you do all these things to me, surely everything that you give me, I'll give to you a tenth. And at some point in every single one of our lives, we have to rise up from our pillows. There's a pillar to be erected, something that God's given us, something that we've taken for granted. Jacob arises from the pillows that bring him comfort, and he erects a pillar unto God. So every single one of us, there comes a time where we have to get off of our pillow. We have to wake up that God is real, that he's dealing with us, and we have to do something about it. And now God is faithful, and he's just, and he'll fulfill his promises. He'll keep his end of the deal. What about your end of the deal? What's your pillar? What are you waiting for God to do for you, or to do in your life, before you get serious about the things of God and the work to be done? These pillars don't erect themselves, but God is waiting. He's waiting on you. So it's time to turn our pillows into pillars and remember the promises of God. God bless you. Thanks for watching.